Welcome to Solar Study course. In previous lecture, we have seen about the basics of semiconductor, that is basics of silicon, how atomic characteristics of the silicon, how covalent bond is formed, how p-n junction and n-type material are formed, and how we have add electrons with the holes and how number of electrons present in the silicon cell and what is the number of electrons present in the boron, that and all we have seen. Also we've seen about the periodic table, which are the semiconductor material, how many groups are containing the simple semiconductor and compound semiconductor, that and all you seen in the lecture 5. So, in this lecture 6, we will go for the semiconductor conduction. How conduction will be happening in the semiconductor. That we will see in lecture 6. Myself, Karthik Yam. Let's proceed with the lecture 6. So, the course outline of this lecture is how conduction happen in the semiconductor material. So, what and all it will include? First, the band gap of the semiconductor, doping, n-type and p-type material, how light will be absorbed in the electrons, how recombination of holes and electrons are takes place, how movement of carrier inside the semiconductor, what is the diffusion, that and all you see in this lecture. Semiconductor conduction. Let's see. See, I already told that in semiconductor there will be a conduction happen. How? That is due to room temperature. There are some electrons are present in the semiconductor material. Due to this room temperature, it start moving. So at the room temperature, it will produce some energy at the less amount of electricity. That is the main behavior of semiconductor. So as room temperature will be increases, the conduction also increases. Let's see what are the types of semiconductor, how semiconductor is formed, what are the energy band, that and all we will see in this lecture. So when electrons gain some amount of energy due to temperature, it start moving. While moving, it gives some conduction. Then what happen? Basically, electrons is in lower energy state. As I explain you in lecture 3, how electrons takes place in lower energy to higher energy, how photon will incident. Same concept we will use here. At room temperature, some of electrons are present in the lower energy state. That may call it as a valence band. When some amount of photon or temperature is incident to this electron, it starts moving or it starts jumping from lower energy to higher energy. How? You can see, while temperature is incidenting, it jumps from valence band to conduction band. So at that time it will produce conduction, and this gap between the conduction band and valence band, that is called energy band gap or forbidden gap. And in insulator, the valence band and conduction band, there will be a larger gap that may be around 9 electron volt. So in insulator, very difficult to jump electron from lower valence band to higher conduction band. So it is not at all possible because it has larger energy gap. In semiconductor, the valence band and conduction band very almost close to each other. The energy gap is 1 electron volt. In conductor, the conduction band and valence band are overlapped to each other. So in conductor, it is very easy to flow the current. That is due to higher temperature or any cases we can get a conduction. So we have to concentrate about the semiconductor. Why? Because when there is no temperature, it acts as an insulator. When there is a temperature, it acts as a conductor. So let's see here. Let's consider this is conduction band, this is valence band. Here electrons are present. When any sunlight or photon is incident, it starts to jump here. So here this is called forbidden band gap. Okay, or it is also called it as a energy gap. Energy gap we can call. So what is this energy gap? It is the minimum amount of sunlight or any incident light or some amount of energy required to electron to go to excitation stage from its the bounded condition. That amount of energy is called as energy band or energy gap. Let's suppose we consider insulator. This is conduction band. This is valence band. Now electrons are present here. If some amount of energy is incident here, but it is very difficult to jump this much path. It is very difficult in the insulator because the amount of energy is coming that is not sufficient for electrons to jump here. If it is more energy we will get, suppose if we are giving more amount of energy like that X-ray and gamma ray, that amount of energy if we get for insulator, that will start conducting. But if I get that amount of energy, in order to getting conduction, it is completely burnt off. So in insulator there is no possible of conduction. Then now we will see about the conductor. Here conductor, it containing also valence band and conduction band, but both are overlap together. So only minimum amount of energy is required to flow electron from valence band to conduction band. So this conductor is always conducting the low amount of energy. Now let's take about the insulator. This is the conduction band, this is the valence band. So the electrons are presented here. If some amount of energy is falls here, it is very less time and less amount of energy is enough for jump electron from valence band to conduction band. So minimum energy is 1 electron volt. So that's why we call it as energy is in electron volt, that 1 electron volt is equal to 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joule. So for silicon the energy gap is 0.7 electron volt. For germanium it is 1.1 electron volt. So as I told you that band gap is the minimum amount of energy required for electron break free of its bound state. When it meet its energy gap, electrons start moving from valence band to conduction band. And from the band gap we can get to know about the how much amount of energy is required from the sun for the conduction. That and all we can see in the semiconductor material. So in the semiconductor material we can predict the how much is radiation is coming from the sun, how much it is actually required. That and all can be possible here. Next, we will go for the doping. What is the doping? Doping is a technique used to vary number of electrons and holes in a semiconductor. How we can do that I will tell you. First of all, we have to know about the semiconductor material. There are two types. One is N-type and P-type. What is N-type? Silicon is a N-type material because it containing more electron rather than the P-type. I will tell you how. In silicon, at the outermost shell, it is 4 electrons and it containing 4 electrons to bond with the neighboring silicon. Okay. In p-type material, it containing the 3 electrons at the outermost shell. So, if this p-type material is bonded with the n-type material, there will be a one less electron. That is called hole. There is a deficiency of electron. So, if it is containing hole, that's why it is called as a p-type material. So, how we can create a p-type material? See, p-type material can be created when a semiconductor material from the group 4 are doped with the group 3 atom. So, group 4 containing the electrons, right, at the outermost shell. Then if I add more number of p-type material, it starts getting the covalent bond with the each electron, but there will be one excess of holes are remaining, that is formed a more number of positively charged, that produces the p-type material. Now let's see how to make n-type material. Let's add electrons here. So basically I am taking silicon material. Here it containing the electrons, almost all the electrons bonded together. Now I want to make a p-type material. How? See, here I will take a boron. It is containing electron but also containing one hole. So 4 electron and one hole. Okay. If I put this one here and form single thing, what will happen? Electron will be bonded together. If I put more number of boron, the hole will increases. So now I will get more number of hole, that is positively charged. So positively charged this material called as a p-type material. So now I can make a slab with one side is silicon content, that is negatively charged, and another boron with positively charged. So like this I can make a p-type material and n-type material. The putting p-type material into the n-type material is called doping. If I put E-type material in the E-type material, then I will get N-type material. Here more number of electrons are present. If I put highly positively charged material in the boron, there will be a lot more of H plus will present, that make P-type material. Another way is like electrons is containing the 4 electrons at the outermost shell of the silicon. Okay. Then boron is containing the 3 electrons at the outermost shell. One is hole. It is present here. What if I want to make another material using this one only? I will take a fifth group atoms that containing the 5 electron. So if I add this to here, I will get the 4 electron bond, then one excess electrons. Like this also I can make a n-type material by adding the fifth group. And also I can do another way that if I add some H plus material content in the third group, that is also possible here. What will happen? Now I will form 2 H plus because remaining 3 are bonded together. Now here one H plus will be present. Now here will be a H plus present. So I will get a H plus in the more number. So that this make a P type material. So now what we did, we got the P type material and N type material. Okay, we bonded together. Let's suppose if some amount of energy is coming from the sunlight. So as we know, when energy is incident, electron starts moving. It is randomly. Okay, what will happen if sunlight is incident here or any other energy is conducting or hit here? It start moving from here to this side. It makes electrons and hole pair. Electrons and hole pairs. Why? Because electrons is negatively charged and holes is positively charged. This electrons is attracted towards the holes. So if some amount of energy will be coming here, that electron and holes pair will be started. So this electron starts moving here and it is producing the H plus because there is a no electrons in this place. By default it is forming a H plus. So by this recombination it produces some energy. This is the basic fundamental for the generating of electricity. We have seen that how n-type material and p-type material are formed. So basically, if I suppose I already told that if I make a bond with the 5 electrons present in the outermost shell, then it containing the more number of electron. In such cases, n-type material is called as a donor, and p-type material with outermost shell only 3 electrons which want 1 electrons for its completing its whole. So that time it is called as a acceptor which will accept the electrons. Next, how light will be absorbed in the electron. Let's see. See, I already told that when light is incident on the electrons, it starts moving from the lower energy band to higher energy band. So if electrons start absorbing the sufficient amount of energy from the sunlight, that is the energy required for the conductivity. And what is the intensity of the light is incidenting on this electron, that is called absorption of the light. When energy of the photon or intensity of a light is equal to or greater than the band gap of the material, then photon is absorbed by the material and electrons will be excited from its lower band, that is called valence band, to conduction band. Both the majority and minority carriers are generate the photon or absorbed by the photons. What are the minority? Minority is nothing but there will be less number of electrons. Majority is nothing but it containing the more number of electrons. In minority, that containing the 3 electrons or 4 electrons in the outermost shell. In majority, that containing the 5 electrons at the outermost shell. So this generation of the charge is nothing but the basis for the production of electricity, and these p-type and n-type material combination is called as a p-n junction bond or p-n junction diode. This basic p-n junction formation is basic for the making solar cell. Solar cell also containing the p material and n-type material which will bonded together. Then what is the recombination? When electrons is combined with the holes, it produces some energy that is in the form of heat or light. When electrons is lose energy and stabilized back to valence band and it is recombining with the hole. There are so many type of recombination. If we containing the lower energy, that is called solar electricity production, that is in form of a lower energy. If we go for the high energy, then it will make a high radioactive material. Like if we go for the uranium and other radioactive material, that is produce um, a lot of energy which is not able to sustain with the our nature, that is called a radioactive type of material. So there are some scientists that their name are Auger, Shockley and Hall. They have made this the first silicon based solar cell. Due to this material lifetime and recombination of this electron hole pairs, they come up with the idea of solar cell. Let's see how movement of electrons will be happening in the p-n junction. So I already told that one substrate is make a p-type, another substrate is make a n-type. This n-type is containing electrons. P-type is containing the holes. When some amount of electricity is produced or any amount of light is incident on here, it start making recombination. Like whole cell is attracted by the electrons. You can see in this image. See, when electricity is applied or any sufficient voltage is applied here, these negatively charged electrons are moves towards the positively charged ions. At this case, recombination of electrons takes place. When light is incident on the solar cell, it containing the some concentrate of electrons. When it is incidented, the carrier concentration will be moved towards in some direction. Let's see. In this direction, there are lot of electrons are present. When light is incident, the current starts moving in one direction. This is called a diffusion. When carrier concentration is present in the semiconductor, due to random motion of electrons and some due to by light or anything, it starts moving in a particular direction and it is aligned together and it generates the current. This is the main fundamental of the diffusion of light to the production of the electrical energy or any voltage or current in the silicon solar cell. Let's see. In this video, we will see the p-n junction of the solar cell. See, these are the bond formed by the silicon cell. These are the atoms you can see here. It is covalently bonded. When some p type of material is added, like boron is added here, it is making p and n type bond, that is called covalent bond. When electricity have to be generated, but how? By incident some light, electron starts moving. Similarly, holes also started moving in this p-type material. So positively charged holes will be started moving here. Here negatively charged electrons are moving. So you can see in this video how it is moving in some direction and all. So now we will form p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor, which containing electrons here, here it containing the more number of holes. When some amount of energy will be induced here or any light will be incident. It starts vibrating much faster than the previously in the present in the room temperature. So what will happen, this H will be moved towards the E type. So positively charged positive hole is moving to the negatively charged the electron, that is from H bond, that is called mobile electrons, which stored here at the junction. So it containing the more number of positively charged, and electron starts moving this N type to P type. It's produce the more number of negatively charged electrons. So when some amount of light is incident, you can see sunlight is incidenting on here. It starts moving from one direction to another direction. Then electrons and holes pair will be started. So it is basically for the conduction of the solar cell. So when light is starts incidenting, more electrons and holes are started. These pairs are generating electricity. You can see here in this video. So as intensity of light increases, the generation of electricity also increases. That will be produced the some sufficient amount of electricity to our solar cell. See, as electrons are moves in this direction, holes are moves in this direction, it will glow the. In next lecture, we will see the how we can form a basic solar cell, how we can get the this PN junction diode, and how we will use mathematical model to produce the IV curve of the solar cell. What is the basic equation for single diode model, and that is implicated to the solar cell. That and all you can see in the next lecture. Thank you.